Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1003,
Woo!
January 20,
God bless you.
23.
Yeah.
52 degrees was the record high on this day in 1908. And because we had a 50 sometime in December, I told you that the time between 50s isn't that bad. 32 below on this day in 1888. And on this day,
January 20th.
On this day in 1982, 17 inches of snow.
You don't tell me.
From the mayor's office.
And I believe that was Super Bowl weekend in Detroit, Cincinnati, and San Francisco.
You got a call from home.
The icky shuffle?
Everybody was getting calls from home telling everybody how stuck they were and the wind was howling and what have you. Quite a snowstorm on this day or this weekend in 1982.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner.
Hi.
Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop. John Height in the newsroom.
Why is
And
this
of
the old
course,
one?
The rookie.
It's not.
Here is your flashlight king, fireworks
This is the new one.
commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
I have a nice note from Katie Tierney in East Union, Minnesota.
East Union. I do not
Didn't
know
we
where
meet Katie Tuesday night?
Might have. She was there.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't Kamala.
No.
Kamala Kathy.
No.
Hail the Flashlight King.
Hail you.
On Thursday's
Hail
show,
you.
I applauded Joe's attempt to take Positive Thursday to heart. He tried. He really tried. He even brought up the old saying in a roundabout way, because you dummies really aren't up to your aphorisms and had to look it up, that you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar. While the sentiment is cute, the truth is, in the real world, you do not catch more flies with honey. You catch more flies with vinegar, or really anything fermenting. Out here in the country, we get fruit flies in the summer. Those little suckers multiply faster than the bunnies good old Noodles likes to kill in my garden. I don't leave out a bowl of honey to kill those pesky flies. No, instead, I put out a bowl of apple cider vinegar, cut with the tiny bit of. I'm waiting for Kenny to go crazy. Cut with a tiny bit of dish soap to mess with the surface tension, and then cover it with a bit of plastic wrap. I poke some holes in the plastic wrap, and then within a few hours, the infestation is under control.
Yeah.
If I left out a bowl of honey, I'd have ants. And I think we can all agree that no one wants ants. All this to say that Joe might be on the right track with his grumpiness. Maybe he will sway more minds by being curmudgeonly than he will by being Pollyanna sugarcoat. No, the world is not a happy place, and I appreciate Joe being real about it. Just some food for thought as we enter the weekend. Katie, P.S., thanks for the opportunity for a rare weekday date night on Tuesday. The handsome husband and I loved the show and got to catch up with Father Doug Ebert. It was the highlight of 2023 so far.
Nice.
Who's
What
he?
town?
Is he your priest?
No, he is a.
What town was she
East
from?
Union.
East Union, just south of Carver.
He
Oh,
became
okay.
a priest late in life.
Okay.
And now he's retired, but he had his own parish. Very soft-spoken man. I met
was
him.
he the one?
Obviously a GLer.
Was
Yeah, I
he
met him
sitting
at the
next to me at the
1000.
bar? Is that who I was sitting next to at the bar?
You were with a clergyman.
Yeah, Father Doug must have been.
Here's the deal with the clergy. They should never be allowed to go out in public undercover.
Yeah, they got to wear a collar for.
You've got to wear something that identifies you as a clergy.
So your filter works.
Because he was talking like Kenny.
Oh, I'm
you know
so.
Well, I think he had a life
just-
before he was a priest.
There's not a priest I know who couldn't have kept up with you.
But that's so uncouth. It's so crass,
Father,
and I'm just so ashamed.
No, I don't
Father,
think he was.
Father Doug did my grandmother's funeral.
I didn't know that.
Very ashamed. So put on a badge or something. Collar,
East Union
hat.
is in Carver County.
Maybe a patch,
Kenny,
tattoo. I don't know.
Rook,
Yeah.
do you have the text you sent me with your phone there from the mole that you sent me?
Yes.
Because I'd have to run out and get my phone. I want you to read it to me. Just the one you sent me.
All
Very,
right.
as I recall, it was very brief.
It was very brief.
Yeah.
From our mole at Highland Park. Loaded gun at Harding today.
Meaning
I'm sorry. Loaded gun at Harding Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Central student shot at Jimmy Lee on Wednesday.
right?
Big all-out brawl at Humboldt today.
Meaning yesterday.
Yeah. And I trust this person with all my heart as far as his garage logician
No, that's
is.
a real mole. And in the know, so I don't doubt any of that. Whenever something like this comes up, even euphorians, people who live in Liberal Lakes and Diversityville should ask themselves how Walls' spending plan would prevent that. And it won't.
No.
The decline of moral and ethical integrity is so across the board, and so many parents have just squandered their duties that you've got a generation of undisciplined, disrespectful, immoral, anti-ethical kids in school.
And the
they're going
alleged
to shoot each other.
The alleged shooter at Jimmy Lee was a St. Paul Park and Rec worker.
The man accused of shooting a teen boy in the head at a St. Paul Rec Center on Wednesday afternoon is a city employee who worked at the center, city officials said yesterday. Police swarmed the Jimmy Lee Rec Center off Lexington, along with Central High School across the street. After the shooting late Wednesday afternoon, officers say the shooting left the victim with life-threatening injuries. He's at Regents Hospital. Hours after the shooting, police announced a suspect had been arrested. A 26-year-old man and a gun had been recovered. Thursday afternoon, Mayor Carter confirmed that the suspect in the shooting was a city employee. Okay. And he, in fact, a city employee who worked at the Jimmy Lee Rec Center. Officials said the suspect had been employed on and off since 2013 in different roles. More recently, he was a community recreation specialist,
What does that mean?
which is a worker involved in youth engagement and overseeing day-to-day processes. I think that's come close to a job title that's meaningless.
Okay.
Fox 9, reporting on this, has learned the suspect, who Fox 9 will not identify until former charges have been filed, does not have much of a criminal history. He also had a legal permit to carry a gun.
Are you guys indicting him already? Is that what we're doing here?
No, I'm reading this.
Okay.
No, there's been no indictment.
I hear a tone, though, a certain tone.
He also, I just got finished reading, he also had a legal permit to carry a gun.
Yeah, calm your tone down, mister.
Though the city says it is against policy for city workers to bring guns to work, the city would not say if the suspect was on the clock when the shooting happened. I wonder if that would make a difference.
Not in
You
my
get
mind.
paid overtime. Nor would they tell reporters if he had disciplinary issues during his tenure. Because of the shooting, Central High School was placed in lockdown for a brief period on Wednesday, and officials decided to cancel classes yesterday. Why would you cancel classes? It was a one-off deal across the street.
Blood on the floor. And
No, not at school. Central's across the street from Jimmy Lee.
All right.
Well, there you have it. So it's been a rough week in the schools in St. Paul, but we have more money on the way, and that's going to.
How much money to stop that? How much money?
I think about $450.
Okay,
something
got
like
it.
that.
Got it. Okay, now I got a number.
Oh, we have a per incidence figure.
Yeah, we should have a per incident
Volume
fee.
discount.
About
You-
$450.
Central, you've been in trouble the past month. You get a volume discount of money here. We're going to Sam's Club.
Have you guys heard of a documentary? I know Patrick has, called Boys in Blue. It's the documentary of the Minneapolis North High School football team.
Oh, I've seen
Yeah.
promos for this, but I have not watched it.
And a note from Troy says, I just can't say enough about this series. It's a documentary on Minneapolis North football after George Floyd. The coaches are cops. And I believe it was their quarterback who was shot randomly on the street
Yeah.
and died. And the school ended up paying for that because apparently they weren't supposed to let the kids out early. That was the thin reason the school was on the hook, because they let kids out early to go to a protest. And the lawyer jumped on that and said, well, if the kids hadn't been let out early, I think his name is Deshaun, If you could
I'm
look it
looking
up for
right
me
now.
real quickly, if he hadn't been let out, he would be alive. Yeah, it's called Boys in Blue. Apparently, it was done professionally. I don't think this is a local channel.
This
2
is big
thing.
league. This is big time. I'm looking it up right now. It is 4 episodes, I think. Came out this year. TV miniseries. Documentary spotlights the North Polars high school football team, coached and mentored by members of the Minneapolis PE, as the players come of age in the aftermath of the police killing of George Floyd.
You still haven't given me the quarterback's name.
Well, I don't have a
Who
list
was
yet.
shot on the street? Reavers, are you attempting to find that also?
I sure am, Joe.
I thought you said his name.
I would like to be in your role, either rookies or Reavers one day, and you be in mine.
I would love that.
Because I could find that stuff on Google in about 30 seconds. Because
You're not very braggadocious. You're a pretty humble guy.
No, but
I think you're taking the
you
extra.
have to tailor your search to provide you an instant answer.
I thought it was Deshaun Hill. I thought you mentioned his
Deshaun
name.
Hill, I believe, is his name.
I'm trying to verify that.
Yeah.
Honest to God.
I'm going through the whole story here, but I don't.
Well, see, that's your problem. If I ask you for the quarterback's name, you just want a big settlement. You tailor a Google search to that, and bing, bang, boom, you've got it instantly.
Anchoring the series is the relationship between offensive coordinator Rick Plunkett and quarterback Deshaun Hill Jr.
There you go.
One a Minneapolis beat cop, the other an incredibly dubious 15-year-old who's lost loved ones.
We got it, Matt.
I was just trying to give you all the information that you wanted to.
Thank
Well,
you.
and to respond to your point earlier,
Yes.
I think you're right. You being in a technology role on this show, I think that would serve the listeners well. Rook and Kenny, you're not aware of what happened earlier today, but
Don't you dare.
oh yeah, I'm going to.
Don't you
Do it.
dare.
So I'm sitting in here.
No, Reaver, I asked you not to.
I know you did, but we had an email conversion a while back. So I finally do have email back here
It's
at Hubbard.
migration.
Yeah, it's migration.
Yeah.
And Joe came in here, as Joe is wont to do on a Friday.
Right.
He looked at me, held up his laptop, and said, "Hey, Dip,
Yep.
you know how to fix this?" And I said, "Well, why don't you have someone come help you because I'm in the middle of something else right now."
Sounds very
You-
cordial.
So
you
he
can never
says, "Well,
help.
what's Jim's last name? The guy upstairs that helps me all the time." And I just went, "You know what? It's time to give Joe a little taste." And I said, "Well, yeah, call the help desk and ask for Jim." He says, "All right, all right." So he's dialing. He goes, "Hey, Dip, what's Jim's last name?" And I said, "Wolf." And he calls Kathy. Poor Kathy gets about 17 calls from Joe a month.
Yep.
And he says, "Hey, can you, that guy that helps me, Jim Wolf, can you send him down here?" And Kathy says, "Oh, Such, you mean Rich Miller?"
Rich Miller, that's what
He
it
says,
is.
"Oh, yeah." He hangs up. He goes, "You mother bleeping bleeper."
So, but
love it.
even better, Rich is hearing this as I'm talking to Kathy.
He sure
Yeah,
is.
his desk is close by.
So Rich comes down and says, "Hi, I'm the guy that you were wondering who comes down and helps you." Rich has bailed me out of more grief.
Oh, my
Hey, all of us.
And of course, Reavers, you made me feel an inch tall.
Oh my God, I love it.
What I love now is that gentle Kathy is in on the joke
Oh, yeah.
because she is awesome.
Yes, she is. Anywho.
Kathy, who's that guy who helped me?
Oh Lord.
Rich saved me. And
This
he
building
fixed
would
it this time.
implode without those two.
You could make the argument that he's probably the most critical employee in the
Oh,
building.
not even close.
Joe, you will likely get a lot of emails corroborating your theory that a number of establishments have a parking scam going. I, too, concur. A number of years ago, my wife, girlfriend back then, and I had just leased a new Jeep Cherokee Sport together, the old boxy-looking one that was cool-looking and could go anywhere. It was mid-December and snowing, and we had just bought a Christmas tree down at the farmer's market in Minneapolis. I strapped the tree on the roof, and we headed back to our apartment in Uptown. On the way, we were feeling festive, so decided to stop at the Green Mill on Hennepin. If you've ever been to the old place in Uptown, you know that parking was very limited.
Oh, yeah. That was a tight lot.
As I drove around scouting for an open spot with my wife, now girlfriend then, my wife said, "Park in that empty lot." Next to the mill was some kind of Asian restaurant. I don't remember, but the parking lot was completely empty, which should have been my warning sign. And they were closed. I even drove up to the front door and confirmed what their store hours were. They were closed until 11 a.m. the next day. However, in the lot was a sign that said, "Parking for customers only. Violators will be towed."
Ooh.
I said, "Well, I ain't parking here. We got a brand new Jeep with our Christmas tree on it, and it's snowing out." I didn't want to deal with getting my vehicle towed and, worse yet, scratched. She said, "They're not even open. They're not going to tow it." So I acquiesced and reluctantly parked there.
Oh, no.
Fast forward to an hour or so later, and we sauntered out of the restaurant in the snow and no Jeep.
Gonzo.
Parking lot was empty again. Go figure. We had to take a taxi down to some sketchy impound lot and pay $200 to get our vehicle back. Boy, you got $125 cheaper than me.
Yeah.
Luckily, the tree was still intact. I learned 2 lessons that night. A, never let my wife tell me where I can or cannot park. And B, that was a damn expensive 6-foot balsam. Sean in Plymouth. Yep. Those scams are being run all the time, I think.
It's one of them balsams.
And you know what? All
why
you got
is
to
it
do
a-
is obey the signs.
Yeah, it's not a scam if it's clearly marked and
That's
you
a scam.
disobeyed.
This guy encountered more of a scam than I did.
No, there's
The
no
owner of the
scam
restaurant's
there at
getting
all.
a taste.
There's no scam
Well, I
there at
saw the
all,
sign.
and you cannot prove that.
Well, you know what I can do, Kenny?
Yeah,
I can
go
tell
ahead,
you
Joe.
it was a scam. I'm
No,
not
it
going to
was
argue
not
with
a
you. I'm going
scam.
to tell you why it was a scam.
You, in
Inside
fact, are
job.
wrong.
Inside job is what you're saying.
That's how it works. Mm-hmm. If it says don't park there, don't park
You're
there.
absolutely right, and I've certainly learned my lesson.
Well, you gave up awfully easy there. I thought we were going to have a more rigorous battle.
Oh, I don't think fighting is necessary.
Not on a Friday, Joe.
The best laid plans of mice and men.
Let's go. Lenny?
But you didn't know who Elmer Gantry was.
I do now. Lenny?
The lights have been on at a Massachusetts school for 1 year because no one can turn them off. That's the title of an NBC News article dated January 19th, yesterday.
Okay, why is this?
Wilbraham High School has been burning 7,000 light bulbs nonstop for a year and a half due to a software failure. The 10-year-old system was designed to save the school district money and energy. Software failure on August 24, 2021 has caused the lights to be on continually, costing the taxpayers. Apparently, nobody employed GarageLogic.com common sense to install an off-on switch. Lo and behold, the solutions are coming from China. The parts have arrived, and installation is expected to be done over the February break. Paul Mustone, president of the Reflex Lighting Group, stated, and yes, there will be a remote override switch, so this won't happen again. So the best laid plans, we'll show you people. We'll have all our lights automatically go on and off. Well, they've been on for a year and a half.
What do you see now, the one switch for the on-off, the final say?
Oh,
It's
Big.
it's got a big lever.
Yes.
would you like to take a brief time out?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay, sure. Here we
Thanks,
go.
Barf.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
This next song is about Kenny Olson. If he's here, jump up and down.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Nobody told me about boredom. Nobody told me I could stop at DK Mags and pick up a box of ammo or two on my way out of town. They're right there on Old 8 New Brighton. You can pull off 35 WB in and out in a matter of no time. It's a full-service gun shop. Wide selection of everything you'll find in a gun shop. Long guns, pistols, revolvers, shotguns, you name it. All the accessories and ammo that you need. And DK Mags, they'll help you track down that firearm you've been looking for. First, check the store. The store usually doesn't list on the website what they've got there, so that's an excuse right there to stop in and see what they've got. But if you don't see it in the store, hop on over to the website, dkmags.com. You can order almost anything from there. You can also swing into Monticello Pawn and Gun up in Cello. They're just south of 94. Same deal, quick in and out, and you'll be on the road. Great selection, fair prices, a wonderful staff at both Monticello Pawn and Gun and DK Mags on Old 8 in New Brighton, and on the web, dkmags.com.
Years ago, as GLers well know, It was either the EPA or the Consumer Product Safety Commission that ruined gas cans.
Yeah.
By gas cans, I mean the can of gas you keep in the garage to fill your lawnmower or snowblower.
Right.
And they made it so the nozzles, what their theory was that American consumers were spilling, and then they gave some outrageous number, today's environmental statistic. American
80,000 gallons a minute.
Oh, I bet it was even more than that. And so they came up with these spouts that are terribly problematic, and no GLer needed that. All GLers are last droppers. But I keep thinking of the woman with the electric car across the street from our snowblower friend.
Right.
She that's who they must have had in mind when they designed a new gas can. Well, now it's about to get worse.
Okay, how so?
The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission said this week that flame mitigation devices will be required for all new gas cans and fuel containers starting in July. This will affect all portable containers.
Oh, boy.
Each year, get the we don't know that's
Ready for you, brah.
Get some damn sounder ready. Each year, thousands of people go to emergency departments with burn injuries related to flammable liquids, it said, stating the new measure aims to make gas cans and other fuel containers safer.
We don't know
Impossible to use.
Flame mitigation devices protect against flame jetting and container rupturing, both of which can occur when a flammable liquid is poured from a container over exposed flames, causing a sudden ignition of fuel within the container itself. Flame jetting is when that ignition forces burning vapor and liquid to expel from the mouth of the container, creating a blowtorch-like effect. And container rupturing is when the burning vapor and liquid are expelled through a break in the carrying vessel.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Flame mitigation devices, such as flame arresters, protect against flame jetting and container rupturing. Flame jetting is a sudden and possibly violent flash of fire that can occur when pouring flammable liquids from a container over an exposed flame or other ignition source. Well, who would pour gas over an exposed flame? When you fill your lawnmower, you're not pouring gas onto an exposed flame.
Somebody that says, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody who wants to go to the emergency room. This is God weeding out the stupid.
Yep.
Congress started requiring the safety regulations in 2020 when former President Trump signed the Portable Fuel Container Safety Act. Take that, Trumpers. You think he's your guy? He just screwed up your gas cans. The Portable Fuel Container Safety Act into law as part of an omnibus spending bill. According to a release from the bill's sponsor, Representative Mike Thompson, Democrat from California. Okay. After the legislation was signed into law, current standards for combustible liquid containers caused more than 160,000 fires annually, resulting in 454 deaths and injuring more than 4,000 people.
We don't know that.
A new button.
That's why I'm so proud to see this critical bill become law, so we can implement the simple and cost-effective solution of flame mitigation devices.
How many gas cans do you think he has?
I'm reading some of the comments. I don't often because they're all anonymous people on Twitter, but some of them are funny. I pumped gas for years. Hose operations commercially. Never lit myself on fire.
Yeah.
Thousands of gallons every day. Owned numerous plastic gas cans and metal gas cans over the years. Never been set on fire. This one says the government has already screwed up gas cans. I don't think they can make them any worse. It's impossible to find a spout that won't leak.
Hold my beer.
No, it's not impossible. They still make the world's best gas can. Initially, we were talking about it being a VP brand can available from Dennis Kirk, but now they're available everywhere.
Really?
Auto parts stores, Fleet Farm, you name it. And they're just big 5-6 gallon hard, heavy plastic with a big cap and snout and a rubber hose on the top.
You remember
And-
that hardware store we went up to way in the northern suburbs?
St. Francis.
St. Francis. What was the occasion of us going there?
It was it a garage door opener?
I don't know.
Because it was early or late spring.
Was it the 20th or 25th
Whatever.
anniversary?
Anyway, we're there,
Remember that beautiful bench?
and the proprietor
That place was cool.
yeah.
gave me a new old stock gas can.
Cool.
Oh,
Because
steel?
this had come up obviously on the show, and he set aside a new old stock probably a 5-galloner, one of the squat fat ones, not one of the
Yeah.
tall ones.
Sure.
And it's on display in the Sushenheim. I haven't used it yet.
You haven't?
I haven't, because I still have another one that's just I don't.
We were there.
I have another pre-EPA regulation.
I thought I was the only one that collected gas cans. I got a bunch from the 60s and 70s.
and hang on to them, because
Yeah,
GLers
they're all-
will buy them from you.
I remember
They're
now
all
why.
hanging up.
What were we doing?
Johnny Height was the grand marshal because he lives in that area for that particular town festival day for St. Francis. And we were just there because they wanted us to come up to promote it. That's why we
Maybe
went.
that was it. It was fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, brand new shiny red can.
Imagine if you get one of those gas cans next to a gas stove. You're in real trouble then. You got to outlaw everything.
Well, let's
done.
get serious for a moment. I'm struggling to understand what the Consumer Product Safety Commission has discovered. What are they describing? Who is starting themselves on fire, filling a lawnmower or a
They're
snowblower?
fixing a problem we don't have, and they're making a bad gas can worse.
And what will be the nature of the flame mitigation device? What is a flame mitigation device?
I don't know.
How can
Flame
you?
mitigation device.
What is it? What kind of hardware will be now added to a what used to be a very simple gas can?
Flame retardant that shoots out if you spill a drop.
Oh, really?
No, I just,
Oh,
He's making it up.
well, I'll believe anything.
Right.
It's the government. It's a bunch of 24-year-olds who've never cut the grass.
right.
And they have computers and they have meetings and they're very inclusive and sensitive. And they believe that idiots like us are just constantly starting ourselves on fire with gas cans.
Spectre, whatever
That's
number.
a lousy-looking gas
It
can.
really
right there.
is.
Flame mitigation device gas can.
Yep.
That's what.
Well,
That's
does it tell you what
no. Doesn't say
what
anything. Just says it.
constitutes the flame mitigation?
No, it doesn't give me any information. Just a picture.
I'll tell you what the best flame mitigation is.
Bring
Don't use gas around an open fire.
There you go.
That might save you some problems.
Drop the mic.
I don't understand this.
We're
I've
poorly
been
led,
using-
Joe.
I've been using gas cans and filling tanks of all varieties my entire life.
Who are they protecting? The incredibly stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
The incredibly
But
stupid.
I don't even know what the incredibly stupid are doing to catch on fire pouring gas into a lawnmower.
Well, it's always the lowest common denominator. That's who the rules are for, the dumbest among us.
Somebody smoking, maybe?
Somebody got that heater on, and then they're going to work on the mower.
Yeah, could be.
Hey, Johnny, give me that wrench. will
I
you?
did see a guy a couple weeks ago having the cig dangling while he was filling up his Ford
My
pickup.
favorite.
I thought, hey,
Yeah, I don't like to see that.
what you doing there, Holmes?
Smoking.
He's fine.
This is a good
Well,
smoker.
in
Here's a
any
good smoker.
event, you know what this is a signal to do? You know, gas cans are becoming like politicians. With each new gas can, you'll
Find a drip.
rue the day that you lost the old one. You in the back. You.
I'm going to let you choose.
What's your name, son? You've been in class, but
Horseshack.
you're auditing this class.
When
aren't
I
you?
first started this class, my name was Gary Cheevers,
Right.
but now I'm known by my real name, which is Chris Reavers. I have not one but two pieces of audio, sir. Speaking of that very thing, that we're going to wish we had the person we don't have anymore.
Which is really frightening.
Right.
Because who's going to be worse than Melvin Carter and Jacob Fry?
So I'm going to let you pick because they're both gold.
All right.
Number one or number two, and then I'll let you know
Well,
who
what
it's
am
from.
I hearing?
Well, this is one piece of audio is from current Vice President Kamala Harris,
Right.
and we might as well play both.
Sure.
And the other one is Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Okay. Can this be Rookie versus Kamala?
Oh, we certainly can. Then let's start with Mayor Lightfoot.
All right.
So
Let's play Rookie versus Kamala today.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
I'm opposed to her ideologically.
And wait till you hear this.
All right.
Talking about how to quell Chicago crime right now.
Heard a lot of rhetoric here, a lot of sound bites, but not a lot of concrete solutions on how we get the job done and make our...
Who's the comedian, the dreadful comedian who...
Kathy Griffin?
Thank you.
Yep.
That's an audio separated at birth.
Oh, that's a good point.
Griffin.
Good point. Yes. All right, here we go.
Heard a lot of rhetoric here, a lot of sound bites, but not a lot of concrete solutions on how we get the job done and make our residents and our workers safe. We're doing it every single day.
I think the follow-up is, and your solution is?
I just explained it. We have been in Little Village working with those street vendors, understanding what the nature of the crime is, making sure that we're doing things in concert with them to help them make sure that their money is secure, not use money, if at all possible, using other forms of transactions
You're
to
an idiot.
take care of them.
She wants street vendors not to use cash because that will help curb crime.
What I need to this is happening on the fly, so we weren't entirely prepared for it. What question am I asking, Mr. Vice President?
Oh, you are going to ask Mr. Vice President to help explain electricity.
Well, it's got to be a little more complex than that.
Well, the Vice President,
Yeah.
in her effort, is explaining how everyone can benefit from the use of electricity and how it's
Let me
produced.
ask this, Mr. President,
Vice President,
Mr. Vice
Yeah,
President.
not yet.
4 more years.
How grateful should Americans be for electricity in our electrical grid? How important is it to this country?
Not only is it one of the most important things to our country over the last, I don't know, how long has electricity been around?
Oh, good 100 years
Good
or more.
100 plus years. It revolutionized the way the world is working and such. So if you had darkness way back when, and then somebody turns a light on, you can see. We become more productive in the evening, 24/7. You're going third shift. Electricity basically completely transformed the way the world used to be and made it completely better. Do we rely on it? Yes. Should we rely on it solely? No. But it's a wonderful thing, and we should still continue to we don't manufacture electricity. I guess produce electricity because it will only benefit every soul that's on this earth. You go to the villages in Africa where there's no electricity, life's not so great. You know what I mean? Life is just very simple. Right. You go to a metropolis, you got blackouts, and it's not perfect, but it not only is good for the world, but it is necessary for the world.
Thank you, sir. Madam Vice President Kamala.
Today, America has more than 500,000 miles of transmission lines, enough to wrap around the globe 24 times. These lines connect the power plants where electricity is created to homes and businesses and schools and hospitals across our nation. Think about it. Every time you turn on a light or charge your laptop or plug in your air conditioner or put leftovers in the fridge, you rely on the power delivered by our nation's network of transmission lines. Today,
Rook wins.
No question.
I don't even know what...
She was explaining.
What was she saying?
She was explaining electricity.
But you think of electricity when you put your food in the fridge?
Your leftovers.
Oh, yeah, your leftovers.
You put food on your family.
See, she almost had you there because you should have thought of the food part.
I should have thought of that part. I should have left that out. You know, being a politician has changed me somewhat.
I understand.
Yes.
Can we come back and I want to tell you something about our friend Tony Dungy?
Oh, you sure can.
All right.
But how about I tell you first about our
Go
friends
ahead.
Do it.
at Hofferman Water. You guys met Jim the other day at the Garage
Yes.
Logic gathering for
Yes.
the 1000th podcast. Well, Jim is my guy, and I actually met Jim before I started working with them on this show because I have been a proud customer of Hofferman Water and Connecticut for years now. Satisfied customer numero uno. I love Hofferman Water, and I know that you will too. Hofferman Water is an independent water treatment dealer, so you should call them to see if they service your area, and if not, the good thing about Hofferman Water is they will put you in touch with the people that can service you. And Hofferman Water offers sales, service, and rental options for Connecticut water treatment systems that includes water softeners, iron, rust, and odor filtration systems, and of course, drinking water systems. That new system is going to cut down on salt usage and it's going to protect your appliances because bad water is awful and it can affect almost every aspect of your largest investment, which is, of course, your home. You get that new system and boom, your showers are better. So is your laundry and your drinking water. So call them today, 952-894-4040. That's 952-894-4040, or just visit their website, hoffermanwater.com, and you can see everything that they have to offer right there, hoffermanwater.com. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Tell them you heard about them here on the Garage Logic podcast.
Well, you had to have your private yuck
Right.
fest. Hey, Pat,
Yes, Joseph.
do you know a guy named Dave Zirin,
I do, but I can't remember how.
sports
I remember the
editor
name.
for The Nation?
Oh, I didn't know The Nation had a sports editor. No, I don't know it. No, I don't know it.
He has written that he is done with Tony Dungy and the way the NFL and NBC coddles his right-wing extremism. Do you know why this moron Zirin thinks Dungy's a right-wing extremist?
Because he made the joke about the kid, the stupid joke about having litter boxes in bathrooms and stuff like that.
No, he's going to attend this weekend in Washington, D.C., a walk for life to support unborn babies who don't have a voice. This apparently makes him a right-wing extremist.
Well, there's also he said something. He did have the Greg Doyle from Indianapolis did bashed him, but that was about something different. It was about he's so stupid enough to either he's joking or he's passing along as the fact that we now have litter boxes and for students who want to dress up like animals. That BS.
I didn't. I'm unaware of Dungy having a position on that.
He did have a quote on that.
Yeah.
He did have a quote, but I think he's smarter than that. I think he was ripping. I guess the whole transgender thing, and then he threw that thing in there, and he's in trouble. Not because of what he's. I wouldn't think of because of his anti-abortion stance, but maybe the other stuff. I don't know.
I'm so old. I covered him at the U.
Yeah, I did. Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I had to. I did. I was on the Twins beat when he was there, but he was a fine quarterback, and he's been a staple of common sense. But I don't know what the I don't know. I mean, The Nation is a little bit left, aren't they?
I'm unaware of The Nation.
Oh, The Nation is an old left-wing publication that's pretty much out of business. But I didn't know why they would have a sports editor. I really don't. I just got a bigger problem than all that stuff right now. Because,
What's the problem?
I'm typing here, and suddenly all the lines look like poetry. I hit some key, and they're like...
Change your font.
That is so...
lines are independently indented.
Let me tell you something. That's very ironic because I was typing this morning And right before my very eyes, a paragraph turned into agate type. And then I typed another paragraph, and the margins disappeared. And so I brought it in and had to have my buddy Rich take care of it for me here at the in the laptop department.
I mean, did you? Well, who did you? So you knew where to go, huh?
There's a guy here, Rich. He's bailed me out a million times.
At the Hubbard building. Rich is my guy too. But yeah, Rich is my guy too. I thought you were talking about the Pioneer Press building.
Oh, I don't know if there is one.
Yes, but I hit something, but I have no idea what.
That's what I did this morning. I hit something. I don't know what it was, and ever since then it went nuts.
You know what happened to me? You know what happened to me the other day, which was one of the worst things in the history of man?
Huh.
I went to save it, to send it.
Yeah.
It disappeared.
Oh, that's frightening.
Had to start all over again.
Yeah. God, I hate that.
So.
And you don't always capture the moment,
You never do. You never do.
So the Gopher basketball team last night scored the fewest points since 1951.
Isn't that something?
So I had our one library guy that's still around, John Wareham, send me the game story from that game, which was down in Bloomington, Indiana. And it was January 27th, 1951.
Wow.
And it was 30-20 with 12 and a half minutes to go in the second half. And the coach from Indiana, Branch McCracken, who was known for his fast break style, didn't like the cramped defense that the Gophers were. It was probably the early version of a zone defense,
Yeah.
And you had no shot clock. The guy held the ball for 6.5 minutes with the ball on his hip, and we didn't go out and chase him.
Wow.
That must have been 6.5 minutes. They didn't chase him. And the final ended up being 32-26 ended up being the final.
Oh, my God.
72 years ago.
Yeah, and it takes a long time to not score that many points, but congratulations, Gophers. The score at halftime last night was Purdue's Player of the Year candidate, Zach Edey.
Yep.
12, Gophers 12. It was tied at it was tied up.
What an odd half that must have been.
What a performance that had to be. I mean, Purdue was ahead 31-12 or something like that.
Was it poor shots or just
No, the
great
Gophers
defense?
just stink. That's what the problem is, and Purdue's good.
They somehow beat Ohio State, played pretty good, and then last time out against Illinois, they were brutal the last 15 minutes, and last night they put it all together. They were brutal for 40 minutes. So
put it all together.
It was, 9,100 announced for a Big Ten game, and probably less than 5,000 actually in the building. The Tommies get that new arena. They got a shot, baby.
Mm-hmm.
They got a chance to be, in a different conference, and you got a gym holding 5,000 and having it full and people excited, and you got the old mausoleum across there with 4,000 people in a 14,000 seat arena. It isn't too exciting.
No. The Wild had a very flat game last night.
They deserved it. They've been playing great. They beat the Washingtons, in Washington, and they've been winning a lot of games. I expected them to lose, and Carolina's one of the best teams in the league. So
I wonder what Dumba did to get in Aveson's bad
scratch.
graces.
What? Oh, I missed it.
He was scratched for hockey reasons, not injury.
Well, in other words, he's playing horse poop. What you say?
I have a lot of thoughts about Dumba. I predicted him as a sure thing Hall of Famer, but with each passing year, I wonder.
Well, he apparently was playing bad early, and then when they started playing good, everybody said he was playing better. But I think maybe, and I don't know him, but from some of the things I've heard, I think maybe his concentration comes and goes.
Maybe
he gets more interested in other things. I don't know. some guys who used to bartend downtown had some stories about him, but I don't.
They do.
Well, it had to
But
be.
I think he's gotten over that.
I mean, they win in Washington. He played in Washington. How badly could he have played in a win at Washington to get benched? I don't understand.
Are hockey reasons not showing up for the skate around or something?
Could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do know, to corroborate Pat's point, I do know that I have on very good authority anyway, that when bartenders would see Matt come in, they got excited.
Yeah.
They knew it was going to be a good night.
Yeah.
They knew it was going to be a good night.
A generous fella?
Yes, very generous fella.
I was going to say, not only when he's by himself drinks, he might buy a lot of other people drinks.
Oh,
Leave
yes.
a nice
Yes,
tip.
he was always a great tipper from what I understand.
Okay, you can't beat that. That's how you get a bartender to keep secret.
You're damn right.
Well, we got 2 shots at a weather game tomorrow at Philly on Saturday night, and then I think Buffalo must play Sunday in the daytime.
Yeah, they're the 3 o'clock.
2 o'clock game.
2 o'clock
3
game.
o'clock game.
You haven't looked at the forecast, though.
Well, a big storm's headed up the East Coast, but I'm seeing nothing right now to be alarmed by. I'm sure it'll lead the nightly news if there's a clap of thunder somewhere.
What do we got, a nor'easter coming?
Yeah, I guess so.
I would love to be living on a house on the side of the cliff in Maine when one of them nor'easters
Oh,
hit.
me too, man.
Fantastic. Wouldn't it?
I understand the weather pattern pick up the.
Oh, go ahead.
You're out in your coat and you're leaning and it's blowing you. Even a fat guy like me is blowing me back. It'd be great.
Imagine what it would be like sleeping with that noise. Be wonderful.
Fantastic. And if one of the windows wanted to blow out, who cares?
That's right.
I'm seeing 60% chance of snow on Sunday in Orchard Park, New York.
Oh, God, poor Buffalo. They're gonna. You know what that guy's gonna do when he gets his new stadium, baby? It's gonna have a roof on it.
No, the design says it's not going to, Patrick.
Oh, really?
In fact, it's going to be very similar. What would you call it? The top of the stadium will be very similar to the one in Miami, where they've got the overhang to protect some of the stands. But it's going to be an open air stadium.
Okay. What's it going to cost you? What's it going to cost that poor broke city? $1 billion?
I'm not sure. He is putting up some of the money, but yeah, the city's going to cover the majority of
Pat,
it.
have you ever been in the Buffalo hockey building?
No, I have.
Either have I. I wonder what that's like.
It's neat. It's.
Is it fairly modern?
I'm trying to remember how old it is.
It's right downtown, isn't it?
Right. It is. It's right downtown. I would guess it's probably 20 years old.
Well, so is the X now.
One of those. Isn't it amazing, though, that back in when we were expanding, weren't they in the second group, Joe, of expansion teams?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
And, that Buffalo was considered such a vibrant city back then. They were even that Continental Baseball League that Wheelock Whitney and those guys are going to start that ended up bringing expansion. Buffalo was one of the franchises in that. Too.
Didn't they have pro basketball?
Oh, yeah. They had the Buffalo Braves for a while, yeah. And they used to be the heck were they? I can't remember. Maybe they were an expansion team, the Buffalo Braves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but geez, all their industry ended up leaving, so they're folding. They got outdated with the wasn't who was big there? No, Rochester. It was Kodak or somebody was big, not Buffalo. But anyhow,
well, I'll talk to you Monday then, huh?
Yeah, kind of a nice casual weekend. I gotta if I can figure out this computer and stop writing poetry verses here, I'll be good.
Joe or Patrick, how old was Jake Maurer?
I don't know how old Jake was. What do you think, Rook? Jake?
I'm thinking he had to be, about...
Pushing 70?
I was going to say about 66 or so, and I don't know.
Was he sick or was this sudden?
That I don't know. I don't know the cause.
I don't either. Have they announced it yet officially? Did they issue an obit or not?
I have not seen one. Not as of.
I heard about it yesterday morning and got confirmation and was sitting around waiting to see if it was going to be revealed or not. So Too bad. He was a good guy, and he's married to a saint, man. That Teresa's a great gal.
He married a Tierney, yeah.
And you know what, Joe? What you don't think about Joe and that family, blue collar as you could get when you grow up. You know, this is a rich kid now, and you think of them as privileged, but they were as blue collar as you could get.
Well, Mom worked at St. Pat's Guild, and he was selling trophies down on University for a while over at Hammond.
I told one of my favorite stories is the one about Jake's old truck that he drove with the bad muffler, and he was going to Oxford for the he was playing with all the black kids over at Oxford football, you know, and he hadn't showed up 5 minutes before the game. They were all in a panic, and before they saw the truck, they heard it. And started celebrating that Joe was on it. Joe's coming. Joe's coming. Oh yeah! And now 20 seconds later, they saw the truck. You know. So,
hey Pat, speaking of that world, did you see we're no more Dunning baseball?
Dunning Field is done?
They're done after 30-some years.
Really?
Partly due to COVID and other things, but no more summer. What league is that, Rook? St. Paul Summer League?
I don't know, but it was fields were always full.
Right.
I can't believe
make
that.
It soccer now or something?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder.
Well, they don't have enough players.
Yeah.
I wonder.
That's where I saw Winnie. That's where I saw Winnie pitch a few times. Poor Winnie, man. If he didn't strike him out, there was an 80% chance they were going to get on base. They were not good fielders.
Jake was 66.
Where'd you find that?
It's in the newspaper.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Isn't that odd? You find it right there in the paper.
Yeah, I just did a search.
Yeah. All right, Patrick.
Well, all right. See you later.
Thank you.
Yes.
You can hit your break.
I was waiting for the Soul Man.
I want to talk about mechanic in a can. That's how simple it is, and that's what Seafoam is. Only it's a lot cheaper than a mechanic, and it's not going to sass you. It just quietly does its job and keeps our motors running and starting like a charm. And I don't care if you're in a Cummins diesel or you've got a Briggs and scrap them. Seafoam will help clean up the deposits, lubricate, and keep those moving parts moving gently. It stabilizes fuel, preserves ignition vapors. That means engines start a whole lot easier. Don't work harder, work smarter with Seafoam. It's a local company. It's got a global reach. It's available all over the world. Truly a wonderful product in a world of bad gas. Seafoam.
Go ahead, Rock.
Nope, it just sounds like heart complications at age 66 in his home in Braham, Minnesota.
Hey, Rook, you feeling it?
Will you send Mary Shively an email?
I will.
So I can get that code. Okay.
Finally, thank God today is Friday. TGTI Friday. It's the scramble!
We haven't mentioned David Crosby's death. I loved his voice. I love much of his work. We called Height to see if he would like to join us.
And he wasn't feeling it
today, and he was unable to. But I hope he has thoughts for us on. I'm sure he's read Crosby's biographies or whatever. I probably wouldn't. I've read Neil Young's, but I haven't read Crosby. Great sound that came out of the Topanga Canyon era in L.A. There was a great documentary. I can't remember if it was on Crosby, Stills, Nash, or if it was on Crosby's documentary. And he's at Mama Cass's house in the canyon. I'm sure they were all high as hell. And Stills and Nash are noodling and start singing something. Yeah. And Crosby, his ears perked up. He's laying on like a swimming pool lounge. And he gets up and he introduces his harmony to it. And they all look at each other, and Crosby said, well, I guess I know what I'm gonna be doing for the next few years.
Oh,
and that was
really?
the start of it right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw them at the, what's next to the XL? I'm drawing a blank.
Well, it used to be
Roy Wilkins.
Yeah.
I saw him at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium, second row, and David Crosby flicked his pick when they were done, and I caught it.
You did not.
I can show you the pick. It's on. It's
You
in
were
one of
at
my
a
scrapbooks.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash show?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You have a
No, you
scrapbook?
I have a scrapbook that she put together of all of our trips to New York, all of the concerts we went to, all of the. I'll bring it in sometime. We can file through it.
You know
we
what?
can put it.
It was
in
one of the greatest
GL
gifts I've ever got from
We
her.
can put it in a GL archive, maybe.
As much as I'd love to join you and Kenny.
Yep. Where's your scrapbook right now?
Jess has a couple of stuff we've done over the years at our home
Yes.
as well. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great if you
Yeah.
took the CP, took all the trips you've been places, and said, Jen, look what I got for you.
Actually, you know what? She would have a scrapbook of all of the great memories over the years. None of it would include him.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Remember that trip we took to, no.
Let me,
Not
Pictures
even
of her
top
with the
10.
kids.
All the pictures that I have taken in those kind of situations, she always says, "You better not be showing anybody that."
I have heard that too.
Let me send you into the weekend.
Let's go back to Crosby. Are you
Before
done?
I'm done, I want to hear John Haidt.
Oh, okay.
I just like the guy. I guess he was tough to get along with. Yeah.
Aren't all musicians mostly?
Not all. Before we get to this day in history, let me give you a little bright story to pad your
Here we
weekend.
go. Send us sailing out.
A DACA recipient had this to say to Minnesota lawmakers last week. We're voting. We're voting. Our people are voting. If you don't pass this bill, people are going to vote you out. Angelico Bello, who said she is a DACA recipient, told the House Transportation Committee January 10. DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, which is an Obama-era rule that protects its recipients from deportation. Deferred action does not provide lawful status, according to the United States government. Only U.S. citizens can vote in Minnesota. Bello is testifying in favor of a bill that would allow illegal immigrants to obtain driver's license. A driver's license is really important because sometimes when you don't have a car, when you don't have a mode of transportation, you're pushed to do certain things to get income. In the case of my mom had to use her body as a source of income, she said.
Oh, no.
What a bunch of BS. Know your humanity and know that you are all in these chairs because of us, she said. Be of service or else we're going to come and take your seats away.
Ooh.
Republicans on the committee expressed concern that the driver's licenses for all legislation would make it easier for people to vote illegally. They proposed an amendment that would have required licenses issued to illegal immigrants to include a not voting label, but that amendment was rejected. And so illegal immigrants apparently will be soon be able to get licenses. And this young lady said, and will be voting, even though they're not entitled to. So it doesn't take long for the people who get to this country to seize upon an entitlement mentality.
Yeah, right.
Just instantly grab onto it, isn't it? That was from an Alpha News
Come to
piece.
America where you are free, but not everything is free.
I'm sorry that your mother was forced into that condition,
Yeah.
Bello, but I'm not sure I'm following your logic that that's linked to an absence of a driver's license.
Yeah.
We accommodate everyone with so much public transportation. Granted, it's not safe to use it, but
Right.
we
That's not our
have a
fault.
lot of public transportation. Yeah.
Elephant in the room, then.
Yeah.
If we're going to pass all of this, that's fine, IDs, whatever. Then what now is stopping people from voting with an ID?
What do you mean?
Well,
I mean, why don't we have a law that says you must have an ID?
Then what's the problem? Why?
Yeah.
Right? There's no more argument to be made that you shouldn't have to provide an ID to vote, right?
Right.
If this law is then passed.
I want IDs to vote.
Well, I do too.
Yeah.
But then what will their excuse be? Those that oppose voter ID.
I don't know.
Okay.
Copy that, cowboy.
You know what? You
It's
know
a
what Joe
music
has done?
I'm starting to feel like Kenny.
Joe has
checked out.
Yeah.
Only because they come to us all the way from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga, South Africa, from the Traveling Lymans at worldwidewaftage.com. It was on this day.
What day?
To January 20th.
In 1896.
Go.
On a theatrical tour, Calamity Jane, quick, without looking it up, what was her real name?
Jane, don't tell me, Cannery.
God, you're close. Martha Cannery Burke.
How did you know that?
Martha Cannery Burke. She appeared at the Palace in Minneapolis dressed in the male attire of buckskin jacket and trousers. Well, really, that's a misnomer. She was dressed in her attire. She wore buckskin jacket and trousers, and giving the people of the eastern cities an opportunity of seeing the woman scout who was made so famous through her daring career in the West and Black Hill countries. On this day in 1961...
Is Palace Theater still there?
No, it was called the Palace Museum.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
What year was that, Joe?
Palace Theater's in St. Paul.
1896.
No kidding. Wow.
On this day in 1961,
Jan 20,
a fire destroyed the Crosby family home, which had been built at the foot of Montreal Street in St. Paul and is now the site of Crosby Farm Park.
no relation
Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
to David.
No.
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 Crosby Park. Okay, I know where that is.
On this day in 1969,
Is this 120?
Yep.
Lit?
President Lyndon Johnson bestowed the Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor awarded by this country, on civil rights activist Roy Wilkins. Wilkins was born in Mississippi but spent most of his life in St. Paul. In 1923, he graduated from the U of M, where he was the Minnesota Daily's first black reporter and editor. He served as executive director of the NAACP from 1955 to 1977. He has a stamp in his honor. It was issued in 2001. You all right down there? God bless you.
I think so.
And finally, on this day,
January 20th, I'm good.
in 1981,
What do you got?
Lowell Bruce Langan, who grew up in Odin, Minnesota, was one of 52 hostages released from the American embassy in Tehran after being held by Islamic militants for 440 days during the Iran hostage crisis. Langan was charge d'affaires at the American embassy in Tehran. That kind of plagued Jimmy Carter's presidency, didn't it?
Yeah, and Reagan said, I'm going to come in there and bust the hell out of all of you.
Thank you very much,
The
GLers.
Palace Theater
And
is
launched-
owned by the city of St. Paul. Did you know that?
Well, I was talking about she appeared at the Palace Museum in Minneapolis.
Whoops.
Got it.
God, you really need the scan.
This is different.
Yeah,
It's like on the
that's
other
right.
side of the river.
This would be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on,
There's
I'll
a
get
river
myself.
there, some bridges.
Right.
Yeah.
What were we saying?
Palace Theater.
We're saying goodnight.
Yeah.
I thought I had something else to
Tracy.
say.
Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen. Don't go yet. Go check out PodMN on your smartphone.
Yes, sir.
And you carry all those podcasts with you. There's a library of podcasts that I'm sure you'll find something that will enjoy over the weekend. And then slide over to YouTube. Put the old subscription on Garage Logic, and you'll also be entertained by videos and the like. And if you haven't already, please tell your friends and family about the Garage Logic Town Council. All the details at garagelogic.com. Brah? Ciao.
Yeah, bro.
Kenny, I hope you feel better. I'm going to be worried about you all weekend. And I'm going to text you.
No,
No,
he
maybe
doesn't
not.
want you to.
No? Okay. Just let me know, bro. Ciao. Thank you.
Weekend cha?